गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। निधनपतये नमः। निधनपतान्तिकाय नमः। ऊर्ध्वाय नमः। ऊर्ध्वलिङ्गाय नमः। हिरण्याय नमः। हिरण्यलिङ्गाय नमः। सुवर्णाय नमः। सुवर्णलिङ्गाय नमः। दिव्याय नमः। दिव्यलिङ्गाय नमः। भवाय नमः। भवलिङ्गाय नमः। शर्वाय नमः। शर्वलिङ्गाय नमः। शिवाय नमः। शिवलिङ्गाय नमः। ज्वलाय नमः। ज्वललिङ्गाय नमः। आत्माय नमः। आत्मलिङ्गाय नमः। परमाय नमः। परमलिङ्गाय नमः। एतत् सोमस्य सूर्यस्य सर्वलिङ्गं स्थापयति पाणिमन्त्रं पवित्रम्। सद्यो जातं प्रबध्यामि सद्यो जाताय वै नमो नमः। भवे भवेनाति भवे भवस्व माम्। भवोद्भवाय नमः। वामदेवाय नमो। ज्येष्ठाय नमः। श्रेष्ठाय नमो। रुद्राय नमः। कालाय नमः। कलविकरणाय नमो। बलविकरणाय नमो। बलाय नमो। बलप्रमथनाय नमः। सर्वभूतदमनाय नमो। मनोन्मनाय नमः। अघोरेभ्योऽथ घोरेभ्यो घोरघोरतरेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः सर्वशर्वेभ्यो नमस्ते अस्तु रुद्ररूपेभ्यः। तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महादेवाय धीमहि तन्नो रुद्रः प्रचोदयात्। ईशानः सर्वविद्यानाम् ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां ब्रह्माधिपतिर्ब्रह्मणोऽधिपतिर्ब्रह्मा शिवो मे अस्तु सदा शिवो। नमो हिरण्यबाहवे हिरण्यवर्णाय हिरण्यरूपाय हिरण्यपतये अम्बिकापतये उमापतये पशुपतये नमो नमः। ऋतगं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः। सर्वो वै रुद्रस्तस्मै रुद्राय नमो अस्तु। पुरुषो वै रुद्रः सन्महो नमो नमः। विश्वं भूतं भुवनं चित्रं बहुधा जातं जायमानं च यत् सर्वो ह्येष रुद्रस्तस्मै रुद्राय नमो अस्तु। कद्रुद्राय प्रचेतसे मीढुष्टमाय तव्यसे वोचेमशन्तमगुं हृदे सर्वो ह्येष रुद्रस्तस्मै रुद्राय नमो अस्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ हर 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 ॐ नमः सोमाय च रुद्राय च नमस्ताम्राय च रुणाय च नमः शङ्गाय च पशुपतये च नमः उग्राय च भीमाय च नमो अग्रे वधाय च दूरे वधाय च नमो हन्त्रे च हनीयसे च नमो वृक्षेभ्यो हरिकेशेभ्यो नमस्काराय नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवधराय च नमस्तीत्याय च कूल्याय च नमः पार्याय च वार्याय च नमः प्रतरणाय चोतरणाय च नमः आधार्याय च लाध्याय च नमः षष्प्याय च फेन्याय च नमः सिघत्याय च प्रवाह्याय च ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण महीमहीषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्. Om Shri Sai Ram. By way of personal background, I shall tell a bit of my earlier years in Mysore. I have been an active Sevadal volunteer for the past 20 to 22 years after returning from Delhi and completing the service, government service there. I am now 83 years old, and I have been serving these 22 years Swami with whatever I can at this age, because at the age of 83 it is so difficult to do any hard work or anything useful, but Swami has found it useful to give me a chance, and I have been doing that. I hope Swami has taken cognizance of that, and that is of my years in service. Earlier years, school, college education was in Mysore. After completing the earlier school and college education, I completed B degree in civil engineering, and then for about 8 years I worked in different civil engineering construction firms and design firms, and with a small stint in the railways also. And then I was selected by the Union Public Service Commission for a service in the Ministry of Water Resources. That is the premier organization of Ministry of Water Resources is Central Water Commission, which is a expert body for the design, construction, planning and consultancy services of irrigation projects, hydroelectric projects, flood control, and all things connected with water resources development. So, and then while in service, I thought it would be useful to acquire a little more knowledge about water resources. So I did M.Tech from IIT Delhi in 1978, and that is my education background and brief introduction to my service career. Now, how I came to Swami. This is, you see, while once traveling from Bangalore to Delhi, before that I should say that in our earlier years when in Mysore, we had never heard of either Shirdi Sai's name or Satya Sai's name. We never knew anything about it. Although much later we came to know that there was a Vaishya family opposite to our house, a business Vaishya family. It appears they were Sai devotees. And I don't know, much later they were telling us that Swami had once come to their house. Whereas being in the opposite house, not only we, even the other houses in that street, they were not aware of it at all. I don't know whether it is a fact or it is just a hearsay. So, and in fact, in that Vaishya family, there was one girl who had been named Sai Leela. She became a very good doctor and she went to US. She was my sister's classmate. And she used to come to our house and all that. And my sister and all her friends used to call her Leela. So we had not heard of the name of Sai at all. So while traveling once from Bangalore to Delhi, a passenger told me about Satya. He didn't specifically say Satya Sai, he said Sai Baba. I think now in hindsight, I feel that he was having Satya Sai Baba in mind. He said that he was carrying some things in his steel trunk, and there he had put a picture of Swami, and on that this champak flowers, that is Sampigabu. And he says when he opened it after 10 days, it was as fresh as when he had first put them. So I was just heard it and left it like that. And perhaps he was referring to Sai Baba, Satya Sai Baba. And then I moved to Delhi for taking up the Central Water Commission job. There I had a colleague who was a bhajan singer and who was a regular participant in the Satya Sai local. There not many samitis had been formed at that time, 1975-76. So he used to go and sing in somebody's house, and he used to drag me. Very reluctantly and without interest, I used to go with him, just because I valued his friendship. I used to go with him. I was still not drawn to Swami in any manner. So I used to go with him. And then at that time, I happened to go to Lodi colony. There, one Shirdi Sai temple was coming up. For the first time then, I heard the name of Shirdi Sai. And then that was the only temple I think at that time in Delhi. It was coming up. And then with this friend I used to go for bhajans, and somehow it started developing like that. And in 1974, I was holidaying in Bangalore. And it suddenly occurred to me that why not go to Puttaparthi and see what happens there. So it was a sudden decision, and after I felt like that, next morning I took a bus from Kalasipalayam stand. Those days, one bus used to go in the morning. It used to start at about 8 or 9 and then reach Puttaparthi by about 2:30 or so. And then it would do the return journey carrying passengers back. So I went by that bus, and that evening I could not have darshan. Next morning I had the darshan. Swami, see, people had assembled. That was a small crowd. Perhaps it was a couple of days or a day after Shivaratri in 19th. So there was a spread of sand in front of the Bhajan Mandir. All this veranda was also not there at that time. Only the stone building was there. And then a small Sarvadharma Stupa was there. Spread of sand was there, and there was a barricade. And people were sitting around, not many, a few people. I didn't try to occupy any front seat. I was in one of the back seats, being still a disinterested man. So I was watching. Swami came out. It was as if, now I can say that when he came out with the orange robe from the room, it was as if there was a sunrise. Just as we see the red disk coming up above the horizon. It was in the same fashion. Swami suddenly appeared, and it was a beautiful scene to see those days. See, it was early in the morning, and it was so nice to see. Came round, talked to some people, collected some, gave vibhutis to some people, collected letters from people, and selected some people for interview and all that. And then he spent like this for about half an hour. He went round the people, and then Swami went back. And afterwards, I went to the canteen, at the canteen was in very primitive form. It was not as it is today. Very primitive, stone slabs, stone bench and all that, So, I had the food and took the return bus. But meanwhile, the friend who had introduced me to this bhajan, he wanted vibhuti. So for him I purchased vibhuti, and I took one picture of Swami, and then I left. But I think Swami had sowed the seed of interest in me. After going back to Bangalore, I started feeling, what is it? I have wasted a beautiful chance of at least taking Padanamaskar of Swami, or at least talking to him. And then I was feeling very bad about it. And then slowly the interest started. I became an interested in bhajans in Delhi, and I used to go with him with a lot of interest. And at that time, I came across Howard Murphy's Man of Miracles. I read that. That ignited my interest in Swami. Thereafter, much later, I read the Satyam Shivam Sundaram series, Kasturi's. I think 3 or 4 volumes had come by then. I read them also. And I started, from a disinterested man, I started worshipping Swami. He became my Ishtadevata. And I started worshipping Swami. But what happened, now of course, this will slightly out of context, it will come. And after serving in Delhi, in 1987, I was deputed to Bangalore to open a regional office. I came here in 1987, opened a regional office. And between 1974 and 1987, I had only one chance to meet Swami, in the sense that in Vrindavan in 1978 I went to Tanzania. Before that I wanted to take Padanamaskar of Swami. I came to Sai Ram Shed there, and then literally stole Padanamaskar from him. He was somewhere else. I just stretched my hand, and I felt satisfied that my 4 years in Tanzania would be safe, and Swami would guard me. And then after I came to Bangalore in 1987, between 1974 and 87, that was the only chance that I got to see Swami. And from 87 till I retired in 98, I did not go to Vrindavan, I did not go to Parthi, but Sanatan Sarthi was serving as the intermediary. I was, right from 75, 76 onwards, I used to subscribe for Sanatan Sarthi. It used to come to me, and that was the intermediary between Swami and me. That was going on. And it so happened in 1998, that I live in a very large apartment complex in Jalali, Gralakshmi Apartments. Somebody wanted to hire a house. So they asked me to look for a house for that person who wanted to have a house. So I made some contacts, and somebody told me that there's it was in several blocks, the apartment was in several blocks. In that particular block, a lady is there, he knows a few houses which are vacant, you can go and contact her. I went to that lady. She told, no, it is not in this block. There is another block where some houses are vacant. You please go and see. I went to the block directed, and there rang the doorbell. Another lady opened the door, and as the door opened, there was a huge life-size statue of Swami. It's a life-size picture of Swami. I could see it, and it was so real life-like. It was looking as though Swami was standing there. So I was, for nearly 2-3 minutes, I was stunned. I had become stupefied. I was seeing the picture, and that lady was asking me, what did you ring the bell for? What do you want, and all that. There was no reaction from my side. And then I asked her, what is this? Then she said, it is Sathya Sai Baba's picture, we have a bhajan mandali here. We conduct bhajans. We also conduct Bal Vikas classes, and that's it. So I forgot about the person for whom the house was required. That subject was totally given up, and I asked them the details of their activities, and that evening happened to be a bhajan day. So I sat there for the bhajan, and then next day, I went to Malleshwaram, and in Malleshwaram Samiti, they asked me, and finally I got attached to Malleshwaram Samiti. They asked me whether I could go and do service in Vrindavan. Next day I went there, did some service in Vrindavan, and then by 96 or so, Swami came to Vrindavan for his summer sojourn. So I started serving him. You know Mr. Sridhar and Geeta, you know I think Sridhar. It was in their house that I saw the picture of Swami, and they built up a small team of volunteers to serve in Vrindavan. So I started coming to Vrindavan, doing daily service during morning darshan and evening darshan in the Ramesh Hall, and then go to Gokulam canteen and serve there, stay there in the hostel number 2. So it started very seriously, and I was enjoying it. This is how I came back to Swami a second time. First it was a disinterested attendance at Swami's bhajans, and then a big gap, and from 96-98 onwards till March 17, 2020, it has been a continuous. This is how I came back to Swami. And now in the late 50s and 60s, the government of India had created a program for assisting underdeveloped countries with experienced people of India to go and serve in their countries and to help them in training their engineers. So I was assigned to the Tanzanian government, and Tanzania luckily had sent a batch of 60 students to study in the Roorkee Engineering College. So they all had completed their engineering and gone back, but they were lacking experience. I was assigned to their Ministry of Mines, Power and Geology and Water. So I went there. I was to train some engineers, and I was to design a dam in very near the President's village. And for 4 years I was there looking after water supply projects and all that. What happened there was, Swami had gone to Uganda. I think everyone knows that, Kenya and Uganda. At that time, there was one tyrant of a president, Idi Amin. He was really a tyrant only, harassing people, amassing wealth, neglecting the country's welfare, punishing people at will. And so that fellow was creating trouble for the neighbors also. This Kenya and Tanzania are neighboring countries for that. So Tanzania was a poor country, no doubt, but they could not tolerate his torture. So there was already an uprising in Uganda to overthrow him. So Tanzania triggered that and then waged a war with him. And in that war, Tanzania was a poor economy. The economy got totally shattered. There was a severe foreign exchange crunch, and nobody was giving anything to them. There was so much of a problem. And we as expatriates were given a salary for our daily living there, plus a special expatriation allowance which we could remit to India every month. All that was stopped. Salary they used to give, expatriation allowance we used to remit in the bank, but that would not come to India. And the practice was that whatever we accumulate there, at the end of our stay in Tanzania, we could remit it to India, whatever is accumulated and saved. So from 1970, the war happened in 1979, and from then onwards, all expatriation was stopped. No money was being sent on the monthly basis. or those who had left the country for good, their money was also locked up there. Nothing went. And from 79 till 1990, nobody could get any money. So I finished my tenure in 1982 and I didn't want to continue anymore because here my promotion was due and I was to come back. So I came back to India. I remitted all the money that I had and I was only hoping that Swami would in some way intervene and help me to get my dues. And even before remitting the papers, there were one or two people in whose house some bhajans used to happen. I used to go there, pray before Swami, and then I remitted the papers. It was in 82 November that I returned to India. And things looked very bleak because many people were going to the Tanzanian High Commission requesting them, and even our Ministry of External Affairs, nobody was able to do anything because they had just no money. And I was praying to Swami every day for this, to get my money back. And in 1983, surprisingly, all my dues were repatriated to India. I got all my money. Whereas those who left much earlier than me, those who left in 79, 80, 81, they could not get their money till 1990. And many of them were thinking that I had done some trick, I had bribed somebody and all that, got it. That was not the case because Swami, I knew it was Swami's work. The unseen hand of Swami had done the trick. So this was one instance which gave me confidence in Swami's divine powers. Although it was a very small matter, but Swami did help me because I wanted money for so many other purposes here. So this was one. And then I was attached to Malleshwaram Samiti, and Malleshwaram, we had a youth wing there. You see, you know Mr. What is his name? Subramaniam. He was a youth leader, and under Dr. Sundaresh's leadership, we used to conduct medical camps in different villages at different places. So we used to go from village to village and then conduct medical camps. During one of the medical camps, Dr. Sundaresh asked me, see, you are free, you are not doing anything, why don't you go and work in general hospital? And as if it is a coincidence created by Swami, whenever I used to pass the Whitefield Hospital to go to Brindavan, seeing the hospital, a desire used to come up in me, telling, why not I get a chance here and serve? See, after all, the needy people, the poor patients will be there. Why not I get a chance to serve? So when Sundareshan told me that you go and serve there, I grabbed the opportunity, came in 1998, joined the General Hospital. Initially it was for a few days only. I served for 1 day, enhanced it to 2 days shortly afterwards, and then 3 days. 4 days also I made. There I was serving for 4 days. And after we relocated here, I was coming from Monday to Friday. Saturday, Sunday I was not coming here. So there, it was all the general treatments that used to be given. And particularly on some days like Tuesdays, there used to be many clinics. Like Dr. Vijayan used to come for general surgery, and then dermatology clinic would be there. And then there would be psychiatry clinic, and then rheumatology, Dr. Hiramalani used to come. So there would be a terrible rush on that day, Tuesday. And we were very few volunteers at the time, myself, and you might have heard of Hemchand Gupta, Kuppam Vijay Kumari's husband, of Anyata Sharananasti fame. And then when Mr. Vaidyanathan was there, a retired general manager of the railways. So we three, he was 90 years, Mr. Vaidyanathan, Hemchand Gupta was 80 years, so I was in the 70s. I was in my 70s. So I was the youngest among them. So when the doctors would put pressure on us to get the files, we used to panic. And Swami used to show his presence there and help us, So open a rack where there would be 500 files, and the moment you put the hand, it would be exactly the number you wanted. We would pick it up and send it like that. Many occasions it has happened. So I think, except attribute this to Swami, otherwise it was just not possible to happen like that. So this is how Swami used to take care of even very small things. And other days it used to be generally normal. And what happened in after the hospital was opened here, the super specialty hospital, it was I think 2018 January 19th. And the first founding day anniversary, that was January 2019. I was on the 17th, on 18th I was doing duty in the medical block in Ramesh Hall. So Swami came as usual, went round, and he came and stood behind me. I was facing the devotees, and Swami in the passage came and stood behind me. He stood so close to me that his robe was touching me. So I was delighted and I wanted it to continue for quite some time. And Swami was talking to some doctor about some surgery that had taken place and somebody who had to be treated. That it took about 2 to 3 minutes. And then Swami went, the darshan was over, and our Mr. Venkatraman, who was the Sevadal coordinator at that time, he said, you go and do some duty in super specialty hospital. Tomorrow is their anniversary day, first anniversary day, and Swami will be there. Please go and do some duty there. So I used to serve in Gokulam canteen. So I went there just to have a cup of coffee and also for a while do the service and then go to canteen, go to super specialty hospital. We have one is the main entrance, and from the side we can enter through the kitchen. Normally, those of us who would serve, we would enter through the kitchen side. So I went there, I was in a hurry and a little tense because he had told me that I should come here by about 11 o'clock. It was already 9:30, 9:45, and I had to come by bus here. I went there. As I got up the first step on the kitchen side, so there was a cabbage leaf lying there. I put my foot there and skidded. I went about 3 meters. My knee hit the wall and I could hear the bone breaking, Tuck, it said, and then actually what had happened was under the cabbage there was oil spill. They had covered it with a cabbage leaf. So I didn't see the floor. I was just entering there, do some service and get away. So I broke my leg, and there was no pain, absolutely no pain. But I had lost mobility in the leg, and it had swollen to a football. Very big, it had become a big swelling was there. And our Dinakar, who used to be the canteen manager, he came, he tried to lift me up and all that. The leg was immobile. Then they managed to get somebody's car, put me in the car and sent me here in General Hospital. Dr. Ramkumar saw, he suspected a fracture, and he said, take one X-ray, we will see what happens to you. And then X-ray was taken, there was a fracture was confirmed, and that day happened to be Friday. This Saturday was the anniversary day of the super specialty hospital. Friday, Dr. Manjunath comes, who is now in Bowring Hospital, as superintendent. He is an orthopedic surgeon, but he had already been given 4 cases to operate that day. So he was it was not possible for him to take up one more case. And I was there, I was put in the special room there, and I was told to wait. I was wondering what to do. You see, next day is super specialty hospital day, first anniversary. Swami is there and nobody will take up this work. And then following that is Sunday. Sunday is a holiday for the hospital. And then again, Dr. Sundaresh used to come only on Wednesdays and Dr. Manjunath used to come on Fridays. These were the 2 orthopedic days. So I was wondering what to do, how to solve this problem. From nowhere, Sundaresh came that day to the hospital. It was not his day actually. It was not his duty day. I don't know why he came. Of course, why he came, indirectly because it was Swami's arrangement. But at that moment, in that state of mind, I could not guess why he came. He came and Dr. Savitri told him, you see, this fellow is here. He has broken his leg and is lying there. Dr. Ramkumar also told him. Sundaresh, I knew Dr. Sundaresh because we were going together for the medical camps of the Malleshwaram Samiti. He came, he saw, he said, your knee has fractured, I will operate. Anyway, I will not go back immediately, I will operate and go back. So, I was prepared to undergo the operation. At about 4 o'clock he started the operation. Until 7 or so I think he did the operation, put me back in the room and he left. So next day morning, Dr. Savitri had told me that she would release me on Sunday because she was to come here for the function. But Saturday morning, the other junior doctor, he made me walk with the walker. So barely 8-10 hours after the operation, I was made to walk. I was walking comfortably. He said, now you can go, sir. There is no need for you to be here. You seem to be recovering well. And even before I could tell Savitri about it, he said, you go, I will tell her. So I left. I came. So Swami, in this way, perhaps I was to suffer some big damage that day by his robe's physical contact with my body. I think he had taken away all the major ill effects and he had spared a small, I think, a little bit of trouble for me, and that trouble Dr. Sundaresh solved it. This again is Swami's grace. I had it like that. And then after that, then it was Mr. Hemchand Gupta, who used to come and, that is Kupam Vijayam's husband, he used to come to hospital and he was a 84-year-old man cycling all over, and he used to do all the odd jobs of hospital, like bringing, those days all letters used to be written, taking registered letters to the post office, sending them from there, doing all the banking work, and all these odd works he used to do, plus also help us in the hospital. So from in 2012, he had stopped coming to the hospital because once or twice he fell in the hospital and had small injuries. He stopped coming. And I went to see him. He lives in, what is that? Brookbond Colony in Whitefield, I went to see him along with Balaji who works here, I took Balaji with me and we went to see him. We saw him and we were returning. When we were returning, while crossing the road, I don't know, Balaji crossed and got onto the footpath. Before I could cross, some motorcycle came and hit me. So it was a big blow to me. I fell down. I think I hit this head hit the curbstone. And there was a cut and I think profuse bleeding was there. As Balaji tells, I was lying, the way I was lying, people thought I had passed off. And nobody, although the general hospital was very close by, nobody was prepared to, no auto rickshaw was prepared to take me there. So he was frantically requesting every passing car, every passing auto to take me to the hospital, it appears. Nobody was obliging. But one fellow, it appears, he agreed to take me. And he brought me to the hospital and he was so scared that even without collecting the auto fare from Balaji, he ran away. So there, by the general surgeon was there. He saw me, the pulse was still there, it appears. And then I was revived, stitches were put. And then Dr. Ramkumar and Dr. Kamakshi, Savitri was not there at that time. Dr. Kamakshi, they said, you go and get one CT scan done in super specialty hospital because there may be an internal damage. So I was brought here. There was severe giddiness. You see, it used to, as though I used to feel a vertical kind of rotation as if I was going up and falling down, going up and falling down. And then brought here, and Dr. Ramkumar got that done. And he said, no, there is not much of a problem, and you will be all right after a few days now, because trauma is there. You are feeling as though you are very sick. So I went home, and then day by day I started reviling my mobility, Mobility was, suddenly I would feel like falling down. Suddenly putting the next step was becoming very difficult. And by about the end of October, this happened on the 1st of October, by end of October it became very worse. I somehow was continuing that. I had not been going for hospital service also. So on first week of November I went to consult a doctor for something else. And then I came to my brother's house there in Vijayanagar. I was sitting there, I was unable to get up, put my foot forward and all that. And then there was urgency for a neurologist's consultation. I could not come here. So they took me to Fortis, because Fortis is nearby their house, the old Wockhardt, which is now Fortis, I went there. The general medicine doctor saw me, and he suggested get an MRI done and get a CT scan, brain scan also done. I got it done, and in the evening the neurosurgeon came, he saw it and he said, immediate surgery. You have bled terribly in the brain and all that has to be drained out. Otherwise, at your age, I was 75 then, at your age you may not survive. So I got admitted, an emergency surgery was done. 4 holes were put, still the dents are there. 4 holes were put to drain the accumulated blood. And I was there in ICU for 3 days and ward for 4-5 days. So I was cured. And he said, it's a miracle. He openly said, it is he said, who is your Kuladevata? I told. So your Kuladevata has saved you, he said. Although I knew it was the Ishtadevata who had saved me. So he said, at your age, so much of brain damage, the other blood being hemorrhaged there, nobody can survive. So it was done. I became all right, and then I started resuming my hospital duty like this. And then somehow, I feel that I have been a accident-prone man. While walking, if there is a slight projection of the footpath, that stone or tile, I trip over it, fall down. Many times it has happened. But Swami's grace is such that no major injury, he has saved me from all major injuries. I have suffered a bit, but it has not interfered with my hospital work at any time, or Swami's work at any time. Even our Samiti's work in Malleshwaram, it has never interfered with that. So, like this, once normally when I go from here, the bus used to take me up to Matikere, opposite to Ramaya Hospital, opposite to Ramaya Kalyan Mantapa. I used to get down in Matikere and then cross over and then go to Jalalli. One day while crossing like that, an auto rickshaw suddenly came and his mirror hit my right ear. There was severe hematoma in the ear. I fell down and I could not hear. Here next morning I came to ENT surgeon. She said again, you see, you have suffered a major injury. Lucky you are still all right. And she put some medicine, did some scraping and all that. My ear was restored. Like this, and more recently, in November, when I was coming here, just opposite to the hospital where those vendors are selling that puri and all that, a stone was rising. I have not noticed, put it and fell down flat. And my upper lip got crushed inside completely. It was it had become a pulp, entire thing. I came here, went to the emergency, and then general surgeon was called. He put some 4-5 sutures, and then some absorbable suture he put, and it was like this. often it happens to me like this. And normally, these are all the small experiences I have had, and Swami has every time taken care of me, but which he has seen to it that my service for Swami has never been interfered with. With all these handicaps, I have still served Swami. That is, I don't know, Swami has taken a fancy to me and he has put me in service all along. And after Swami left his physical body, I used to go to, on my birthday, 17th of March is my birthday, I used to go to Puttaparthi and pray near, sitting at the Samadhi. 1 or 2 days I used to spend there. And this time what happened, March 17th, I had arranged everything to go on 16th, be there on 16th, 17th and come back on 18th. But 16th they closed, I think. So I got the intimation that it had been closed. And then I was wondering what to do. You see, this Swami's blessing I am going to miss. So morning when I came and as soon as I come for duty, the first thing I do is I go to the Dome Hall and then do Namaskaram for Swami there. So I saw Brother Praveen coming there. So I told him about my birthday. He said, come inside and you can take Swami's blessings here. So it was a great satisfaction that even though I missed Parthi, I would at least be getting Swami's darshan here. I had that. And afterward he gave me an orange on which Swami had put profuse vibhuti. So the blessing was there and I had received it. I was feeling very happy. And then I went to Brindavan, at least to have darshan in Ramesh Hall. They had locked the gate and they were not willing to open, but I pleaded with him, they allowed me. So I could go there, take a parikrama of the Trai, and then sit there in Ramesh Hall for some time and come back. See, to distribute among friends, I had brought some Cadbury chocolates. And then I took that, and we have an acquaintance in Bangalore. So I went to their house. There Swami sometimes shows his presence. So I went to that house, and there I prayed to Swami for some time. I kept it on the floor. And then I was bowing down to touch the feet of Swami. At that time there was a sudden shower of vibhuti on my head and on my shoulder. And then the person in that house, he told me, see, your chocolate has gone to Shirdi Baba's head, and it was sitting on his head, you know. Unfortunately, nobody had a camera there. My mobile is a first generation mobile. I use that button one. So I could not take a picture. So what I missed in Parthi was again here. I got a darshan here. I could go to Vrindavan. I go to that acquaintance's house. So this way Swami blessed. So I feel that although my experiences are of a very, very ordinary nature, very insignificant, but Swami has shown that he is with me, and that is something very gratifying. And after all, the kind of service I have rendered to Swami in the hospital, perhaps anybody, any illiterate man could also have done. But I have done it, and I feel particularly such small works as registration or helping a patient to read what doctor has prescribed. Anybody could have done it, but I have done it, and the reward is, after my explanation, the patient would smile, and that was the greatest reward I have. August 28th is the founding day of the General Hospital. The General Hospital, very affectionately, people used to call it Swami's little hospital. But Swami would not accept that attribute. Swami used to say, this is a very great hospital, because many of the people have got operated here, and I think John Hislop or somebody had a prostate problem. I think he was operated there by Dr. Subramaniam of Vellore fame. Vellore, that Christian medical hospital, He was with Swami for some time. So Swami always used to say, it is not a little hospital, it's a great hospital. So this August 28th, we had a practice there, you see, particularly when Mr. Veerabahu was there as the superintendent, and later on Upendra Acharya was as the superintendent, and plus Dr. Savitri and Dr. Sundaresh, they generally used to arrange a trip to Puttaparthi to meet Swami. Not necessarily on 28th, but around that date. So we used to go almost every year, and Swami used to assemble us in either Bhajan Mandir or somewhere, and then give a special talk to us, and then distribute vibhuti and give his blessings. In 2009 or 2010, then Upendra Acharya was the superintendent. We went there. I think 2 bus loads. 2 bus loads and some this one Toyota vans. So we all went there, some 100 of us, and Swami at that time did not call us in Bhajan Mandir or anywhere, and he came for normal darshan in the evening. And as usual, on the men's side, he came, talked to some people, and just like that, and he saw and he went back. So people on the men's side thought that Swami would not call us again for any special darshan, and that was the end of it. It was almost 7 o'clock or 7:30 in the evening. And he went back to Yajur Mandir, and Mr. Hemchand and I, we were sitting together, and he has a flat in East Prashanti. So we went there to collect our baggage and then get back to bus. So while we were getting ready to get back in his flat, his neighbor, she came rushing and said, "What are you doing here? Swami is giving Pad Namaskar to all the ladies and a few gents there near the Yaju Mandir, and why are you here?" So Ashwini heard that. We rushed through the VIP gate, we crashed, and somebody tried to stop it. We didn't care, we rushed. We went there, and then Swami was, I think it was time for him to enter the Yajur Mandir. He was just at the entrance. So Mr. Hemchand took the first namaskar, and then I took the namaskar, and Swami blessed us, gave vibhuti packets, and then that was the end of it. So that was one unique opportunity. That was a very special blessing, because we would have missed it in the normal course. Most of the men volunteers who were there, and even doctors, they all went back to their cars and buses. Many of them missed it. So they were surprised when we told them that we got the Pad Namaskar, we met Swami, and we received vibhuti from his hands. Many were, even Sitaramaya, our anesthetist father-in-law, he was feeling so bad. See, somebody misguided me, they said there will be no Pad Namaskar, I left. See, we also were of the same impression that there will be no Pad Namaskar, but it was the lady who gave us the information, because she saw people taking the Pad Namaskar. So that way we were well lucky. It was a very special blessing from Swami to us, and to me and to Hemchand Gupta. This ring was given by Swami. During one of our General Hospital anniversary visits, perhaps around 2005. So this ring was given, and the strange thing is that Swami did not talk or anything like that, specially show any blessing or anything like that. But I think for 2 people he gave, and one was mine. Just drew the finger, inserted the ring, and then just did like that and left. So that is how this ring has, and this is a very precious gift from Swami, and I cherish it. So I think with this short narration of my experience, for whatever it is worth, then I thank Swami to give me this, to have given me this opportunity to talk in his room in the hospital, and for all the staff and authorities of the SSH Super Speciality Hospital for the chance that they have given me. I thank very much. Om Shri Sai Ram.
దివ్యాత్మ స్వరూపులారా, నేను మిమ్మల్ని ఏమీ ఆశించటం లేదు, అడగటం లేదు.
Embodiments of divine love. I never expect anything from you. I never ask anything of you.
కేవలం ప్రేమతత్వాన్ని పెంచుకోండి.
Develop love in you.
యావత్ మానవ జీవితాన్ని కూడా నువ్వు ఒక సోదరి భావంలో భావించండి.
Consider the entire humanity as
అందరూ భగవంతుని బిడ్డలుగా విశ్వసించండి.
Believe firmly that everyone is a child of God.
ఎవరి యందును ద్వేషం కానీ అసూయ కానీ మీరు అభివృద్ధి గావించుకోకండి.
Do not develop hatred or jealousy against anyone.
ఎవరి మనసును నొప్పించకండి.
Do not hurt anyone.
ఆ విధమైనటువంటి యొక్క విశాల భావమే మన యొక్క జీవితానికి విశాలమైన ఆనందాన్ని అందిస్తుంది.
Such kind of broad feeling in our heart will give us a lot of joy.
ఈనాడు స్వామి యొక్క జన్మదినం చేసుకుంటున్నామంటే నాకు అందించవలసింది అదొక్కటే. మీరందరూ ఐకమత్యంగా ఉంటుండి భారతదేశం యొక్క ప్రాచీన సాంప్రదాయాన్ని తిరిగి మీరు అభివృద్ధి గావించండి.
If you are celebrating Swami's birthday today, all that you will have to just do is develop unity among you. Develop the ancient Indian culture, bring it to its pristine purity.
నేను ఇక్కడికి వచ్చే సమయంలో అనేక మంది హ్యాపీ బర్త్డే అన్నారు. నేను ఎప్పుడు హ్యాపీగానే ఉన్నాను, నాకు హ్యాపీ అక్కర్లేదు. హ్యాపీ లేనటువంటి వారికి హ్యాపీ బర్త్డే చెప్పండి.
While I was coming en route, people were telling happy birthday to me. I'm always happy. There is no need for anyone to tell me. Tell people who are not really happy.
కనుక
happy
నాకు
birthday.
అనంతమైనటువంటి ఆనందం ఉంటుండాలి.
I have infinite joy and bliss.
ఏనాడు ఏ క్షణమైనా నేను విచారం చేసినటువంటి క్షణం లేదు.
Never, not even a moment, have I worried myself about anything.
కారణం ఏమిటి?
What is the reason?
అన్ని కూడాను అనిత్యములే.
Everything is
అన్ని
transient.
కదిలిపోయేటువంటి మేఘములే.
Everything is a passing
దీనికి
cloud.
విచారం చేసి ప్రయోజనమే.
Why worry about such a thing at all?
జనన మరణాలకు కూడాను ఏమాత్రం కూడాను మనం చింతించరాదు, కుంగకూడదు, పొంగకూడదు.
Even for life and death, no one should bother oneself, and one should not sink, or one should not boast.
మనం పుట్టే సమయంలో ఇంత వస్త్రమైనా మనం తీసుకుని రాము.
When we come into this world, we don't bring
మనం
with us
పోయే సమయంలో మన వారికి మనం అడ్రస్ ఇచ్చి పోము.
when we are leaving this world, we are not even
ఇంక వారు
leaving
మనవారు
our
ఎట్లవుతారు? కనుక ఇవన్నీ కూడా జగత్తు యొక్క పరిణామములే.
All these are natural changes in the world.
ఉన్నంత వరకు కూడా అందరూ కలిసి మెలిసి ఆనందంగా కూడా జీవితాన్ని గడపాలి.
As long as we live, let there be unity among us. Let us achieve
ఒక్క
joy.
భగవత్ చింతన చేతనే మనం సర్వ బాధలు కూడా నివారణ గావించుకోవచ్చు.
We can solve all our problems and difficulties through the chanting of the
భగవంతుని
name of the Lord.
విస్మరించి జగత్తుని విస్మరించి ఏమి నీవు పొందుతున్నావు?
What is it that you are going to achieve? Giving up God, having firm faith in this world.
భగవంతుని విశ్వసించండి.
Have firm faith in
జాతి
God.
మత భేదములు ద్వేషములు ఏమాత్రం కూడా మీరు అభివృద్ధి
Do
గావించుకోకండి.
not develop any differences based upon caste, community, religion, or nation.
అన్ని నామములు అన్ని రూపములు కూడాను భగవంతునివి.
All names and all forms are
సహస్ర
God.
శీర్ష పురుష సహస్రాక్ష సహస్రపాద్.
Thousands of eyes, thousands of heads, thousands of
ఇవన్నీ కూడాను విశ్వ విరాట స్వరూపమే.
This entire area here is a Vishwavirat, this cosmic form of the Lord.
కనుక ఇట్టి దివ్యమైనటువంటి భావాన్ని విశ్వసించి దివ్యనామాన్ని స్మరించి జీవితాన్ని ధన్యము గావించుకోండి.
Have this firm faith in this divine thought, divine ideas, and sanctify your lives.
సత్యం జ్ఞానమనంతం బ్రహ్మ సత్యం జ్ఞానమనంతం బ్రహ్మ సత్యం జ్ఞానం అనంతం బ్రహ్మ సత్యం జ్ఞానం అనంతం బ్రహ్మ సత్యం జ్ఞానమనంతం బ్రహ్మ సత్యం బ్రహ్మ జ్ఞానం Jai.